Monday School is a chance for Wally to share what he learned at church and prove that he went.
We've been in a series about Nehemiah, which, he's towards the end of the book. It's the last book chronologically in the Old Testament, and it's a fascinating guy. Like, I didn't know anything about him, really. And what are you laughing at, Rog?
Nothing, just go on.
I didn't know much about him. It's like Esther, Job, Nehemiah. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But basically, he went and rebuilt the walls around Jerusalem and to regain the city, and it was a big deal. And when they did this, they gathered everybody together and they celebrated and praised God. And it was a big moment because the walls had stood in ruin for years, but in just 52 days, the walls around the city were rebuilt. And so it was a cause to celebrate. And then the people together said, we will not neglect the house of our God. And my takeaway on this was, like, where does God dwell today? He lives in us, and our bodies are the temple. And, like, not that this is a lesson about gaining weight or anything, because I'd be pointing fingers at myself. But instead, it's about making sure that the house of God is in order, like spiritually, emotionally, all that good stuff. Like, are we living our lives for the glory of God? Does what comes out of us reflect God's glory? I mean, what is the first thing we do when we have somebody coming over, a guest coming over?
Clean up.
Exactly, 100%. And we make sure that everything's perfect. So shouldn't we take the same care in how we live if God is inside of us? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And it's like, this is not about just doing the right things out of guilt or habit, but it's about doing the right things out of gratitude and praise for God. There's a great song by Brandon Lake that we're playing called Gratitude.
All my words fall short. I got nothing new. How could I express all my gratitude? So I throw up my hands and praise you again and again.
I think about this in the context of kids and our relationship with them, and how many times as a parent we do things for them and they just seem so ungrateful. Like they just don't notice. They don't notice the sacrifice or whatever. And I have to believe that God spends so much time looking down going, my goodness, you guys are ungrateful.
Yes.
Like, you don't get it.
I think, especially when we find ourselves feeling angry a lot,
Yes.
or we find ourselves complaining a lot, that's when I feel like we're the most ungrateful.
Yeah, I think it's a good reminder that if God is in our house, it should look like a place that others would want to stay. And I think part of that is, like, by living that attitude of gratitude and being conscious of the gifts that God has given us and being thankful for those, it might make us more humble, and it might make our faith more appealing to other people as well. So there you go. That's your Monday School for today.